It's Galvin from the Car Tune Company in New Zealand. In the back of guys' sheds in New Zealand, there's often stuff that just happens. And these cars aren't always shown on the internet, but guys are just getting on using experience from the past on other vehicles they've worked on and turning out some pretty cool cars. The car behind me is of particular interest for two reasons. Yes, it's got a UZ engine in it. It's not normal UZ equipped car, of course, and of particular interest, it's got one of them on it. I'm not sure how those work because there's no wires running to it. Carbureted UZ engine. And the other thing of particular interest on this particular vehicle is down here, and I'm glad we can see it. And if we look right there, that says it's a 3UZ. So this is a 3UZ block with 1UZ non-Vvti cylinder heads fitted to it. Both of these topics are discussed a lot, and a lot of the time it's discussed by people who have never seen them or know very little about it. So let's find out a little bit more about the setup. Let's clear up a few facts and myths about these, and here is living proof that a 3UZ block can be fitted with non-Vvti heads. Now the owner comes from those things: stock cars, and the car is used to destroy those things. We'll let the smoke out, all of the smoke out, and then a little bit extra smoke by the looks of it on those. I think you were trying to remove the steel from the rims.
Easy to change the tyres, I can do that. less work.
Tell us about the car, Callum.
So it's a 1997 Subaru Legacy. It's got a Toyota UZ V8 in it. I've had this car probably over 10 years now. Originally it had a Ford V8 in it. That was pretty dinosaur technology. So we've got a bit of experience from super stocks and stock cars, so we thought Toyota V8. That's what we build. So a bit of a fun car, and that's what we do. Yeah. And
of course it's to go out, do great big skids.
Yeah, burnouts. Pretty much purpose built for burnouts. We've tried drifting. We're no drifter. Yeah.
Now, carburetor setup. Tell us about that carburetor setup.
So basically that comes from Superstocks. It's got a Harcourt manifold with a 2-inch spacer on it. They're custom cast just for Superstock racing here in New Zealand. You can get a few different ones. This one is a cheap one we've got second hand. And yeah, we haven't ported it or nothing, we just bolt it straight on and away we go. So yeah.
What are you using for ignition? Because of course normally it's using the computer. With a carburetor, that's all gone. Tell us about the ignition.
The ignition's an electromotive unit. It's an older with the purple board. It's basically 3 wires to hook it up. It has a crank sensor which has a crank trigger wheel. It has power and earth, and all the timing's all handled through the adjustable dials on the board itself. Yeah, so
this is a really early one where you can set your idle, how much it gets, how soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's pretty primitive.
It's when you say primitive, I like the word basic, which is maintenance free basically. Yeah. It throws a really good spark. We run the standard leads. We just had the ends modified to fit that unit. Yeah. And yeah, she's standard boots, standard leads. Yeah.
Now of course these days if you're racing stock cars, there's not many of those systems left, are there?
Not the early model one. They do a later model one which is a slightly different package.
Yep.
Basically the same company, but they more have like a CDI in them. Yeah, they're a good alternative because the class rules state you must be carbureted. So, yep. But there are guys running links with various packages.
I see a lot of these now with proper timing control with the link ECUs.
Yep.
So they're actually buying an ECU which would run injectors.
Yep.
To run a carburetor because that allows them full timing control.
Yep.
And that's just the way it is. There were lots of others. There was some other boxes that worked on these as well with like the 2 coils.
Yep. Speedway New Zealand actually do a Speedway New Zealand computer for the standard stock side, which probably will run those as well. Right. So, yeah.
And it's got a different trigger wheel on it, hasn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
So you put your own trigger and yep. it fits into the standard
Yep.
Oh, no different sensor in there?
Nah, so basically it's got a 1/2 inch sensor, so we make a sleeve up to go in the standard sensor hole and just drill this one's got an 8mm hole in the side.
Yeah.
And it locates it, so yeah, it's just a sleeve to go between the block and the standard 1/2 inch sensor, so
yeah,
easy.
And of course it was running a 1UZ.
Yep. So
and you've decided just recently to do this. Tell us about that. So this the 3UZ block. This is proof right here of a 3UZ block, non VVTi cylinder heads. Okay, no, can it be done? Let's just do it. The engine reconditioner's got out, knew it was a UZ block, got in and got it sorted. Tell us about what you did there.
So originally we had a pure Lexus LS400 skid car. We've accumulated a whole heap of parts over the years. This engine block came from Australia as part of a warranty deal they had over there, was put in stock. It came to us with no rods and no crank, but they're the same as a 1UZ. So basically it's got a 1UZ bottom end, it's got thicker rods in it, it's got good rods, the crank's been prepped. The engine builder said to me the deck heights are exactly the same, 3UZ to 1UZ. There's no trickery with the cam gears, nothing. So you just basically, the biggest problem that we had was the difference between the 3UZ and the 1UZ was the piston size only, basically.
Yep.
And the 3UZs have VVTi.
Yep,
It causes issues when you put these heads on the 3UZ because of the slightly smaller chamber in the 1UZ head. That's easily fixed by slightly modifying the tops of the pistons.
Okay, so you modified the pistons to overcome the fact that
they have a lip in it, where the pistons just sit slightly proud of the deck.
Yep.
They come up and they just touch the heads. So we just slightly modify the pistons and.
Right.
Yep.
So that was the trick on that.
The only thing.
And of course you blocked up the oil ports.
Yep.
So
the VVTi ports,
which
been
are,
blocked.
well, yeah, they're here. There's the front one. One there. I think that's where it is, eh?
In there somewhere.
It's in there somewhere. I don't know when I've got the head off. I can see it.
Yeah. So we run a 3UZ head gasket, which we got from you guys.
Yep.
1UZ heads. These heads have been pretty much just cleaned. There's been no poor work, nothing. It's got a very, very mild set of cams in it for a little bit more lift. It runs around 10:1 compression. Yeah. So. And
it works.
It works really, really well. Yeah.
How does it compare to your old setup with the 4-litre block under there?
It's a lot more responsive. It's more power, obviously being 10% bigger.
Yep.
So it's moved the power range up probably 1,000 RPM.
Yep.
So yeah, we used to really thrash the 1UZ, the standard 1UZ. We've seen 9 on the tack, and it handled it. But yeah, this one, the engine builder's given us a green light to go to 8.5, but we've found that 7.5 is going to be plenty. So
that's skidded those melted back tyres at 7.5.
A minute and a half for basically a brand new set of tyres.
Minute and a half.
Yeah.
To shred tyres.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And of course, to keep that bit, doing what you're doing, abusing the living shit out of that bit, what have you done with the cooling system to keep this thing cool?
So we've got a double bypass or dual pass FK radiator, quite a large one. It's got a 2,500 CFM electric fan. We run the standard water pump and we run a booster electric pump, which means we can turn everything off and leave the fan and the water pump circulating, and it'll come back down to ambient air temperature. So.
That's hanging down underneath.
Yep.
Typical skid car, don't need brackets, just nothing on the hose.
It's on my list, look, it's on my list.
Wait, there's a list. Oh, oh yes, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, remoted the oil filter just to keep everything out of the way. Got one of your kits for the alternator belt only, just because I don't like belts.
Yep.
And that kit does fit 3UZ, bolt straight on.
Exactly, they're all the same.
Yep.
Pretty much. The block is the difference. Block, you would have found the extra holes.
Yeah,
the
a
engine
couple of
mounts.
extra holes and bigger pistons. That's it. Everything.
Bigger holes in the middle.
Yep.
There's actually more meat in the block of a 3UZ.
Right.
There's actually thicker in the aluminium material.
Right. Yep.
To make up for the fact that there's less between the sleeves.
Right. Yep.
That's how Toyota stiffen them up.
Yep.
And very big, sexy headers.
Yep. My brother is quite handy with the welder, so he got a
Really?
hold here. He had a few days off, and we got new headers. They run, I think it's 42 mil off the head, and they run into 4-into-1 collectors at 3-inch, and then 2 collectors run into a 3.5-inch, and it runs out at the diff. So.
And it's very loud.
Oh, it's exceptionally loud, yes.
Yes, which again is burnout cars.
Yes.
The louder, the better.
No rules, it's real good.
The louder, the better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we put the breathers on, you know, just to stop any issues. Yeah.
So this got its first run this weekend, a couple of weekends ago?
No, last Sunday, like 5 days ago.
Sunday, yep. And like I came here 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't in the car.
No, it wasn't in the car a week ago either.
It didn't even have cylinder heads on it at that point, because I was giggling cylinder heads, gaskets.
Yeah, so we, the Saturday before, so we skidded on Sunday on Waitangi Day, so the Saturday before that, on the week before, the heads were still off it. We were sorting last things out. I got it 10 AM Sunday. It was in the car and running by 5 PM Sunday.
Yeah.
It had a little noise, which we have traced back to the transmission. That's gone away, so it's worn itself in. So that's really
so
good.
you don't care?
Oh, wow. What's the worst that can happen? I've got like 3 transmissions lying around the joint. So.
Here's the solution if the transmission ever gives trouble.
Just put that one in.
And as you can see, that is a stock standard.
Yep, 100%.
Nothing modified, get out, do skids.
No, yep.
And how long's it been in the car?
This particular transmission has been in the car. It's probably done, oh geez, I blew one up, but that was more a factor of not ever servicing it or changing the oil in it. It had been in a wrecking yard for 9 years, and we skidded it on the original oil. And
so that was when the original motor was in the original car?
In the original Lexus.
In the Lexus LS400.
So this transmission is, where did we get this one from? This one will be a wrecking yard special for $100. New oil, new filter. We don't open them up, we don't do nothing to them. We run a big cooler on them, and all I do is I pull the line pressure out to maximum, so it runs maximum line pressure all the time.
Yeah, so that's, yep, there's the line pressure cable.
Yep, highly engineered bracket for it.
Yep.
Yep.
And
yep.
Full pressure all the time.
Yep.
And manual shift, just bang it through whatever gear you want.
Yeah, so it has
whatever gear.
It's got a manual shift loom in it.
Yeah.
And basically what gear you want is what gear you get. So
yep. Same as
you want a lower gear, just lift and shift.
Same thing that I do.
Yep. So
inside,
yeah,
just
it's got a few things inside, A few things missing.
We got a different handbrake assembly.
That's for the rear brakes. So we've got the standard handbrake still. The rear brakes, we went to an event and they said you must have 4-wheel disc brakes or 4-wheel brakes. These burnout cars run front brakes only. So we had to have a way of running rear brakes without connecting them to the foot pedal, which is why it has the hydro in there. So.
Oh, okay, got it. Understand. Yep. And then destroyed the back guards. Like, actually looking better than I would have thought.
Yeah, no.
The tyres, have you caught the back bumper on fire yet?
No, not on this one. No. I have another car that we have done in the past, a Falcon, yeah. But we put these, I manufactured these guards here, which are welded in. They're a 3 mil plate, like a wheels, like we call them a protector. They're welded in.
And that stops burning the bumper and
just stops the tyre slap. When
yep.
they before they explode, they belt up, so the steel belts actually come out off the casing, and that's what causes all the tyre slap. This actually had a cable tie and one of these fancy buttons in here at one point, and
yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Burnout car.
Yeah.
It's actually, it must have been a reasonably tidy car before you started.
It's a genuine RS STI Legacy in cashmere yellow, so Subaru people hate me. There's not many of them in the country for a start. And, yeah.
All right.
But in fairness, Kelvin, like all jokes aside, from here back, from the headlights back, we've cut nothing.
It's all standard.
It runs the standard Subaru diff. We've married the Lexus drive shaft to the Subaru drive shaft.
Yeah.
So it runs a standard centre carrier bearing, standard diff, everything. So from here back, we've cut nothing. We just cut the front here just to get the radiator in where we want it. So.
Amazing, eh?
Yep.
And get out and do skids and have a good time.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. It's a hell of a lot of fun, you know.
If people want to watch some progress on this car,
Oh yeah.
your Facebook page,
Skid Squad on Facebook.
Skid Squad on Facebook.
Yep. Yep, that's us. And that's not only this one. That's everything that we do. So all the dirt stuff will be on there.
Oh, it's dirt stuff as well. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that'll we're just about ready to go racing with this one. So we've solved the niggles.
Abuse yourself in this one as well.
Ah, yeah, it's a bit of fun, eh?
You haven't solved that bit yet.
No, I'm working from the back forward.
Right. I'm looking forward to seeing you when you get out to your next event.
Yeah, so we've got a few coming up. Probably March 28th at Hampton Downs, and then April the 3rd in Masterton for Rapinets. For the next two
That'll be awesome. Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah, bit of fun, eh?
Yeah. Well, great to see you.
No worries. Thank you
That's awesome.
thank you for the parts.
Yeah, mate. Awesome.
Shit on.